So next up on the World Tour brings us out to Bennekerry direction here, the home of Palatine GFC, and I'm joined by a good friend of the left wing back, Mr. Craig Kearney, Palatine goalkeeper. We're leading up, of course, to the county final between Rathvilly and Palatine at Netwatch Cullen Park. Craig, of course, designed the left wing back website as well. CraigKearney.ie, is that where we're getting you these days?
.com.
CraigKearney.com, yeah, that's where you get Craig for all your website design. What do you actually do? Tell everyone now while you have the platform.
Mainly web design, digital marketing, SEO, all the kind of web stuff, yeah. So
Yeah.
that'll be the gist of it really, yeah. Mainly building websites and looking after them then.
Do you venture into the hardship of social media management or anything like that?
No.
Stay away there, since you're There's probably a good
it's a
reason
job
for
in its
that.
own, yeah.
Yeah.
Completely a job in its own,
I
yeah.
even found outsourcing that myself now kind of difficult, like, you know. And then there's the whole point of view of actually from the trust point of view. Maybe it's just a control thing, Craig. I don't know, but there's definitely the landscape has definitely moved towards that particular direction. But you know, do you find with a lot of companies that you know, websites are not a new phenomenon? Social media pages are, but there's still definitely a big market for having a website, having a hub, having that base to drive your content through, isn't there?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Like most businesses now and everything, like social media will be number one, depending on the industry and everything. But like social media will be kind of the number one driver to the website, and then getting people kind of getting to know what you do, and converting them then hopefully into maybe customers, or getting to know them then after that. So
yeah, and that's why I do say to people as well, even from the left wing back's point of view, that I drive all the content through the website now. Before it was kind of loose and like bits on Instagram and bits on Facebook and Twitter, which you will find all our stuff there, but you'll find it's all kind of centralized through the website, which I think is very important for anyone that's in the content game, certainly. But I know it's not just content producers that you cater for, consumers. It's, you know, it's widespread businesses.
Yeah.
Anyone that uses a website.
Yeah, like you have full ownership of your website and everything as well, like, and
Yeah,
you can kind of do what you want with it rather than being stuck to posts or whatever it is. Like I know you have a lot of your traffic coming from there, and that's where people will be. So that's what, like, I'd have someone that helps me out doing social media for people if they wanted.
Yeah, you can outsource it.
Exactly. Yeah. So just people that I know how to do other things to kind of complement what I do, so I work with them then that way. So because it all ties in together, really.
Yeah, it's a fair undertaking from a time point of view to design a website, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it possibly has come a little bit simpler for anyone that wants to do it themselves. I couldn't dream of doing it. I'd have to get a professional to do it, and I think it just looks better, and you pay for what you get, don't you? Like, in fairness.
Completely. Yeah. Like there is a lot in it depending on what you're doing, but there's a lot of back end stuff and a lot that you wouldn't see in terms of if you're doing it yourself. You wouldn't realise until you actually go in to do it, and you're like, geez, didn't realise this was involved.
Yeah, and even from, like, if God forbid, but from time to time stuff does happen with websites that the source may go down or whatever. I mean, if you've gone and done that yourself, you can't contact anyone. Whereas, you know, I know that there are the phone calls that you probably don't like getting, but you're the man that knows how to kind of fix these things too.
That's
whereas,
a big thing.
You know,
that's a big part of it, like, as well, like the management of it, because things change so quickly, like with the internet and websites and browsers and everything. So if you're not on top of it, things will end up breaking or not working as they should, and then you're kind of stuck in a spot if you don't have someone.
Is it still WordPress and Webflow, the two that people are?
Yeah, well, that'd be WordPress would be the biggest one, really. Like there is a bigger one kind of coming up, and kind of do-it-yourself ones and stuff like that. But WordPress would be the one that most people know how to use. It is easy to use, and like I use a few different. Shopify now is getting really big over here as well. So using Shopify, Webflow, WordPress,
Yeah, all those. And Squarespace, is that another one?
Squarespace, I don't really use it a whole lot now, but it's another one. Like there's a lot of options out there really to use.
The only Squarespace you're looking after is the 6 yard one in front of you, like, and maybe the bigger one out in front of that as well, and making sure that the lads in front are doing their job. Other than that, you don't want to hear about it, do Squarespace. I love it, and a nice little way, I suppose, to bring it back to towards football. Before we do so, like, I mean, how do you find managing your own time? I mean, you know, from that point of view, we spend a lot of time at screens anyway with our day-to-day lives, right? But you're literally spending your days, like many, at screens. And managing hours, like, do you have kind of set times during the day where you try and get your workflow done?
Yeah, kind of, like, it's kind of when it hits me, like, could end up working the evening, the weekend, whatever, kind of when it works for me, which is good that I work for myself, like, and I can work around it that way once the work is done, and like the hours, like, kind of a little bit all over the place, to be honest, but I need to kind of, when it does when it is working for me, just do it, get it done, and then
when
it's not working, maybe take a break, go do something else, or
you were saying you do try to keep the Sundays where possible free anyway, unless something goes out, of course.
Especially NFL is back now as well, so
you're
might have training or a soccer match or something on a Sunday, or if we're playing on a Sunday, and then relax after it then for the Sunday evening, get back to things then on Monday.
And that's what I was going to say, that with NFL going into that goes into mad hours, like it's obviously late nights, but are Mondays a little bit tougher then from that point of view?
Sometimes like it'll be like I wouldn't say for the late game usually, so you'll be 12, half 12 it'll be over, so you're not too bad that way, but I wouldn't usually stay up for the late ones. Catch up on it kind of maybe the next day or whatever it works. But and you touched on something there, and I promise we will talk about football, but this kind of ties into the football as well from the point of view of soccer there. You mentioned that you're obviously playing with New Walk. New Walk have had phenomenal success over the past couple of years. I know that the league thing kind of went astray on you possibly in the last season, but you did a double quadruple, didn't you, in the couple of seasons before that? No, I wasn't there for the first time, but the second one was my first year now back in with them, and it was great. Like, it's unbelievable. Like the talent in there is brilliant. Like, and it was great to come into such a team like that. You were fighting for everything, and like you're looking to win a Leinster at the same time as well. Like, so. Unbelievable.
It's
brilliant,
and for anyone around Carlow that has an interest in Carlow soccer, the How Is He Soccer podcast is available on Spotify and Apple. It's actually a very good listen.
It is brilliant.
Kind of only went properly into it over the past couple of weeks, but I think Papa and Podge are doing a pretty good job there, aren't they?
Like I was meaning to listen to it at the end of last season and just never really got around to it, but after catching up on a lot of them now the last few weeks, like I've been listening to it a little bit.
Papa's some one-liners.
He's brilliant on it. Two of them were brilliant on it, to be fair. But
I would have known Papa a little bit from Casey Lawler back in the day, but obviously it's been a while since I was down there and that, so I wouldn't have heard much on it. And last week I had to seek him out and say, listen, well done, because I was forcing him all laughing in the car, to be honest with you. But it's great that soccer is getting that kind of promotion, and in fairness to Harry down in Casey Lawler as well, he's doing a pretty good soccer podcast. And again, I know this is GA, but like I'm curious, I suppose, and interested, how have you been able to balance all this over the past few weeks? Because I mean, for a lot of years and a lot of times, and maybe even to the present day, there's this kind of them versus us kind of thing, which I never really got. I don't really like that, and this thing of effing off to play soccer. I mean, if it's a sport you love, it's a sport you love. I don't know why it ever became such a big kind of us versus them thing. How have you found it the last couple of weeks, especially with Pal going so well?
Like there's not too much crossover kind of in the business end of both of them, which is good. Like I know now you have like a Leinster and an FAI in the soccer, which clashes with the championship all right, and then the league is kind of starting a little bit earlier, I think, this year. So the first league match was last Wednesday, which obviously if you're sitting in the championship, it's business end of the championship. So little bit like I would have loved if you switched to hurling and football, and then the football will be over by the time the starts, unless you win it and you're still looking at Leinster or whatever. But for most teams, like you'd be finished the football before you're back with hurling. I know a lot of lads play hurling, football, and probably soccer. So, but for me personally, like it would be nice. There wouldn't be too much crossover. You had the league kind of at the end of the soccer season. You've the Gaelic league, but like it's not too bad the way to work it. Like I think soccer to kind of hold off a little bit as much as they can till the end of September, start of October, kind of give lads a chance.
And from your point of view, like, there's no other, obviously Paul doesn't have any problem with you going off and playing a bit of soccer, or do the guys in the walk have any problems with you going and playing?
No, not at all. Like not at all. It's just if like there is a clash, or if you're getting close to a big game, like obviously you need to mind yourself and not be doing too much.
But even there, like, did you play the weekend just gone?
No, I didn't play the weekend.
The league game was Wednesday or something.
Last Wednesday,
Did you play that?
Yeah.
You did, didn't you?
I played that.
I saw the photo. I meant to get it put up, and I was thinking, what a refreshing sight, I suppose, to see that's okay, because in other times maybe you mightn't be given permission, but there's obviously no hassle.
No, like it was, like obviously told mind yourself and not be doing too much and everything. But I found like last year as well, like when I was playing the two of them at the same time, it was a lot more sharp, and like the saves in the Gaelic, like kickouts obviously a bit different, but like the saves in the Gaelic, because I was doing a good bit of training, and like Gavin obviously in New York, he'd be goalkeeping coach, so when I'm in with New York and getting good coaching and getting a lot of, like even in the training when you're doing the group drills, there's a lot of shooting, there's a lot of, you're involved a lot like goalkeeping wise as well, so
keeps you sharp.
I think doing the two of them I found has kept me sharper than just doing the one.
Would it be different for an outfielder? Would it be as much permission given maybe, or I don't know?
Possibly, yeah.
There's no, like, you're the only one kind of in this position, aren't you? From
there's a few lads like with Hanover and a few lads after going to Joy's, I think. They might, I'm not sure if they had a team before this year, but Joy's in Ireland, so a few of them have to go in with them now this year, so and just on Gavin Dowling, I think he was involved with Rathvilly a bit last year, was he? Is he there this year again? I'm pretty sure he's with them this year, yeah.
And is he Newark manager?
He's Newark manager, yeah.
Right, so he's coaching Rathvilly, he's goalkeeping coach for Rathvilly. You're in goal for Newark, but you're playing against Rathvilly on Sunday.
I'm a little bit of banter there, alright.
Yeah. Jenny, that's an interesting dynamic, like, No secret share, I suppose, no. But I think it is pretty cool though that everyone is pretty open about the whole thing and that you can play both, like, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's like if you were playing football and hurling, like obviously lads are committed to football and hurling, I know it's under the same association and everything, but like football and soccer, I mean, you're playing two sports either way, so like,
So what's it been like under Pod? Results have been pretty good, haven't you?
Yeah, it's like, obviously we had a tough year last year, and like after winning the year before, and then last year things just didn't go for us in championship, and we just didn't get going at all. And like I think we were lucky to win the 3 games in the group this year. Like they were all close, and like it was kick of a ball in all of them really, like, and we were like, it was a 1-1, we got to win by a point against Glenmore, and then Aero missed a free at the end of the game against them, and like they've all been really close games, to be fair, and like just getting over the line, like, and has like there's a great spirit there, and I think that's after building it as well. Like we feel like we're in a good spot, and
that's good.
Yeah, like there's.
And who's the full management team? I'm always mentioning Paul, but
so we've Paul and Eddie McGarry.
Yeah, Eddie,
and then we've got Owen to be the coach. So Owen's from Kildare, so he came.
What's his surname?
Coaching.
Don't know. I'll be on the spot there, right? Yeah. I've heard about this Owen fella too, but I've never heard anyone say his surname. But it's going on. It's nice to be just known by your first name. Yeah. There's not too many. There's a Henry, there's a DJ, there's a TJ, all these, you know what I mean? But so everyone's mucking in together. You're very sharp, in fairness. Like, I have to say, like, you look slick, you look ruthless as well. I mean, I think I mentioned it on the podcast, Jamie Kenny, what he did the last day, you know, going for the juggler. There was several their old lads in front of him, and he's like, no, I'm going for this. Like, and there was real purpose about Palatine, and it was great. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like Jamie, he's always been brilliant at that, just the sidestep, and like I don't know how you even go about marking them and trying to keep him out, but like having the likes of him and Tomas and
Kieran Moore and the lads like that.
Kieran Moore. It's actually just a perfect timing.
He may or may not have just walked in.
I was literally just about to mention him, like getting lads like that back. Just
you couldn't write it. You couldn't write it. Yeah.
Like once we got Moore back, like that was the big thing about winning 22. Like he just drove things on, and then obviously Tomas and Jamie back, and it's great getting lads like that back, and then you've junior lads coming through as well. Like you've obviously Josh was maybe a couple of years before, but like from last year you have King Cashman and Jack Deasy starting straight away, coming in starting and doing brilliant like the last couple of years. Yeah. And then you have other lads that are knocking on the door, and it's great to have them coming through. Yeah, there's a couple of lads last. I didn't see much of the junior A stuff this year, but young Kearney looked to be a good bit of stuff. James Kearney, like on their junior team last year. Again, I didn't see much this year. Like Dylan Doyle, he's another name that I thought, he'd great striker of a ball.
Super,
brilliant striker of a ball.
Like you've got. Paolo always had that.
Started the last day as well. He's Brandon Cassidy.
Yeah, and he's struggled for a while, didn't he? Didn't he pick up a knock with the 21s, or was it something like that?
He might have, yeah.
20s, 21s. Like I can't. You're going back a few months there, wasn't it? I think he did anyway. I'm really sure he did. But like he's again having him back a big plus. Yeah, definitely. All these guys. James coming in now the last few games have been brilliant. James Kearney and and there's a good like I think it might have been the last time we played Rathvilly in knockout. Actually, it was the delayed 2020 final, a year later, and we had 4 outfield subs. And then in the last 3 years, we've had like a lot of young guys coming through, which is great. That's class. Yeah. And look, at the last time you played Rathvilly in the final, I think was 2016.
16, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit ago now. You would have met a good bit since. I think you beat them in the semi-final a couple of years ago. And what are those games like to play in? I mean,
always like Rathvilly is always tough and physical. Yeah, always a tough game, and yeah, like great games to be playing in, and like they're nearly always entertaining games and close, and very physical and tough game, very, very tough games.
Yeah, and like they don't tend to change too much over the years. The personnel may change. It's kind of like, any big films out there, any sequels, the storylines are kind of similar. The actors may change, but the fundamentals in the teams are generally don't. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Always a tough team, like since I started playing, like they've always been that tough team, like.
Yeah. And look at, I mean, both clubs have had a little bit of hassle in the lead in. I know Pádraig Bulger got sent off the last day. Tomas Kenny, we have to address that. Like he's quite a big loss, but it didn't deter you as the last day. I mean, a lot of people out there, neutrals, might have felt, no, Tomas Kenny, Páll are in trouble here. Aero with all their, I suppose, success in the knockout stages against Páll, and they had, in fairness, records would indicate that Páll against Aero in semi-finals, might have come out on the wrong side of it more often than not. All those things, like that's massive that you're able to get over that big hurdle, and to be able to do it without a player of Tomas's calibre. But obviously, like, it's really disappointing for him too at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. Like, he was away for I think 4 years maybe, and he was back for 1 or 2 championship games like over the years, but being away and then he comes back and then that happens, and just you're getting back into it. And same thing actually happened to Kira, and he played to 22. First year back was 22, but then last year he and missed the year.
It's rotten luck, absolute rotten luck.
Yeah, especially after being away for so long, and then you're coming back and excited to be back, and something like that happens.
Now, my neighbour would be a bit annoyed, I'd say, if I didn't mention him in this particular conversation. The other Kenny, John. Yeah. And John burst onto the scene when he was only 17 or 18, playing with Páll. I think they might have beaten Rathvilly in a semi-final in 06 on the way to that final.
I think he might have been 16 this time, was he? 16?
Yeah.
He was very young. Yeah, he was very young.
I think he got a goal in that semi-final anyway, and burst on or whatever. And he had a bit about him as well. I think he still kicks an odd bit of junior.
Yeah, he was brilliant footballer. Yeah, and I used to actually get lifted to Dublin with him when I started an internship up there, and one nice people you'll ever meet.
Great character,
yeah.
Great neighbour as well, I have to say.
I get to treat them together now.
Mad combination, I'd say. Yeah, and like Jamie, I don't know about Tomas with hurling or John with hurling, but Jamie was a pretty decent hurler as well.
Yeah.
Don't think you played much hurling, did you?
No, never.
Yeah. Now, we played against
never
you.
Really got into
you're literally the same GA year as I am, and we would have come up against each other a good bit. Now, when you got to minor league, you had fantastic minor teams, winning 2 in a row. And but the thing is, and the reason I bring these up, not just for the success, but you had a spell out the field. Like everyone, I always associated you as a goalkeeper. I think I've a match programme at home where I think it was under 12 final we played you in, and you were in the goal, which is crazy. Like, what I mean, all those years later. But you did have a spell out the field then as well, did you?
Yeah, I think the 14 final I was out the field that year actually, cornerback. Number 2,
doing everything.
That's the one, So and we actually had a junior game. It's mad. But a junior game when we were just starting out, and Jason Kane was in cornerback and I was midfield. I don't know who was over us, but it was a little bit mad.
That changed a little bit, yeah. And it's funny because out in Loughlin Bridge, I think nearly every one of us in around my age started off with our number 2 as well. Because I remember the second day I went out to midfield or whatever, but it seems to be that thing, dropping cornerbacks.
Exactly,
yeah. But you didn't last too long out of the field.
No, back in the goal. A couple of years, I think under 10s or 12s or something, I might have played a year, but I think it might have been 2 years over the years.
We're going to wrap it up now shortly. I did say 5 minutes to you. I'd say we're going over that now at this stage. But I have to say, in fairness, when we're talking about injuries, like you've had your own bit of hassle over the last couple of years. Like, tell us a bit about that and what you've had to do and what you still have to do to keep right.
Yeah, like I never really had an injury that kept me out for a long time. Never pulled a muscle or anything like that. But the 2021 actually, in between when we played the 2020 delayed 2020 semi-final and 21 championship, actually tore tendons off the bone. I was out for a good while with it, and then inflammation on the pubic bone as well at the same time. So that one,
that's a nasty one. Yeah,
I think you need to just rest it and not do anything. So they didn't actually pick up in the first scan. I think they picked up one of the injuries but not the other, and came back the next year and still got it right. Yeah. So it took a while now to get it right.
That was the year. So you were playing through pain the year you won it, then, were you?
Well, toward the start of the year, say through the league.
Yeah.
Through the league, it was. Yeah, yeah, it was the first game I came back. Like I didn't realise I was trying to kick it out, and jeez, I couldn't barely kick it 10 yards. Like
how do you, well, whatever we're playing through, but how do you rest and keep in shape at the same time?
Well, that's what I just had to take a bit of time off really, and then look after it, not be doing too much, not to inflame it or anything like that, and just work on kind of strength and do a lot of rehab and just. It's
not simple. No, it really isn't. Like, because I mean, it's great being told to rest and all that, but then you know you start putting on a few pounds maybe and stuff like that. It's not simple, and you spend a lot of time at a desk, so they have to be disciplined enough in trying to get like stretch and obviously still do.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, like still need to kind of like the strength maybe isn't there. Like I wouldn't notice it at all. But I was told the strength probably wouldn't be there in the muscle that would have been before. I don't think it's affecting me at all. Really, I don't notice it now or anything like that. Just make sure I keep on top of doing prehab and everything before training and make sure I'm right.
We've got one, and please God, just stay right. We've got one wild card question at the end to finish up. We always finish up with something a little bit mad. Brian Kelly or Brian Farrell?
Good fun. I go Farrell. Farrell's right in front of me and he saved me a good few times. So I go Farrell, but Jesus, two of them absolutely unbelievable. Two of the best I've seen in the position like ever. Yeah. And actually King Cashman reminds me a little bit of Brian Farrell, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Has those hallmarks, Scott can load that one.
I go, he said, look, Scott is absolutely unbelievable, but I'd say Farrell now has saved me a good few times being in full back there, so for that reason I go with him.
Well, look, we won't let things go too mad at this county final week, but we do appreciate you giving up your time,
of course.
And the very best luck this weekend, and of course check out leftwingback.com, which Craig has designed. Best luck with everything. Thanks very much.
Alright, thanks Kev. Cheers.